What if a city's name could tell you its entire origin story? I mean, not just where it is, but why it is. Today we're going to dive into the story of a city whose very name literally grows from the soil of its founding legend. This is the story of Kumasi.
And what a name it is! Kumasi comes straight from the Twi language. You've got kum, which means under a tree, and asi, meaning a pot. It basically paints a picture of its own birth, a legendary meeting place under a tree. And that one simple image, that tree, is the seed from which a whole kingdom, and eventually a modern city, would grow.
All right, so to really get this story, we're going to trace the biography of the city itself. We'll start with its beginnings as the Garden City, see how it became the Kingdom of the Golden Stool, then explore its golden age, get into its century of conflict, and finally, see it today as the living heart of the Asante people.
Okay, let's jump back in time to the late 17th century. Forget the bustling city for a second and just picture this. Kumasi is a pretty small settlement, tucked away deep in the forest of what's now southern Ghana. But its location, that was no accident. It was perfectly placed for trade, for farming, and for connecting all the nearby communities. It was small, sure, but it was strategic. It was just this place of quiet potential, kind of waiting for its moment.
And boy, did that moment arrive. This is where everything changes. That quiet little settlement is about to become the very heart of a powerful new kingdom. And the transformation is so huge, it honestly sounds like something straight out of a legend.
And get this, it all happened incredibly fast. You've got King Osei Tutu I, guided by the legendary priest Okomfo Enoke. They set a plan in motion, and in the year 1701, they defeated their powerful neighbors, the Denkira. Then, in that same year, Osei Tutu united a bunch of states into the Asante Confederacy and made Kumasi its one and only capital.
But this wasn't just some political deal, it was deeply spiritual. The legend says that Okomfo Anokie summoned the golden stool, the Sika Dua Kofi, right down from the heavens. And this stool wasn't just an object, it was believed to hold the actual soul of the Asante people. So in that moment, Kumasi became way more than a capital. It became the sacred, spiritual center of an entire nation.
So, with its spiritual and political roots firmly planted, Kumasi just blossomed. This was its golden age. A thriving, powerful city that wasn't just known by its neighbors. No, even European traders on the coast knew that Kumasi was a major inland power you had to reckon with. The Asante Empire, with Kumasi right at its center, was this incredibly sophisticated society. It was built on a few key pillars. First, it dominated the gold trade, which made it incredibly wealthy. Its artisans were absolute masters of kente weaving and wood carving. But this wasn't just a cultural hub. It was a military and administrative powerhouse, super organized and incredibly strong.
But you know how it goes in history. When you have great power, you tend to attract great rivals. The 19th century brings a really dramatic and violent shift to our story. The Asante Kingdom finds itself on a collision course with the ever-expanding British Empire.
And really, the heart of the conflict was pretty simple. The Asante wanted to protect what was theirs, their independence and their control over the trade routes that were their lifeblood. The British, on the other hand, wanted to expand from the coast and get access to the very same resources, especially gold, that made the Asante so powerful. Their goals were just fundamentally opposed. A conflict was pretty much guaranteed.
And that conflict was absolutely brutal and relentless. For nearly 100 years, a series of wars raged, and the impact on Kumasi was just devastating. The city was attacked and destroyed by the British in 1874, its king, the Asante Hene, was exiled in 1896, and this all led to one final, desperate act of resistance in 1900.
This final stand was led by an incredible woman, Ya Asantewa, the queen mother of Ejisu. When the British governor demanded they hand over the golden stool itself, she was the one who rallied the Asante chiefs to fight. The War of the Golden Stool was this fierce defense of their most sacred symbol, a powerful symbol of Asante defiance and resilience, even when the odds were completely stacked against them.
Now, even though the Asante were ultimately defeated and their lands were absorbed into the British Gold Coast colony, this story is not about being wiped out. Not at all. This is where the whole narrative shifts from destruction to this incredible story of cultural survival and the city's rebirth.
So how'd they do it? Well, the path back happened in stages. After 1900, Kumasi was under colonial rule. But, and this is the crucial part, the people fiercely held on to their traditions and their identity. This cultural preservation was so strong that by 1935, the British actually restored the office of the Asante Hene, bringing back the traditional authority they had taken away.
After Ghana gained independence in 1957, Kumasi didn't just survive, it absolutely thrived. Today it's the second largest city in the entire country, a major hub for commerce, education, and culture. Think about that journey, from a small settlement under a tree all the way to a modern metropolis.
And that history isn't just locked away in a book somewhere. It's alive. Kumasi is still the official seat of the Asante King. You can visit the Manhia Palace Museum, you can get lost in the amazing energy of Kejetia, one of West Africa's biggest markets, and you can see traditional festivals like Akwazide. In Kumasi, the city's past is its present. Which really brings us to our final thought. From that legendary founding under a tree, to its spiritual unification under a golden stool, through the fires of empire and war, Kumasi endured. It kind of makes you ask the question, right? When a city's soul is forged in gold and resilience like that, can it ever truly be conquered?